there are plot twists that surprise you. And then, there are plot twists that make you question everything you just saw. They don't just add a new wrinkle. They shatter the foundation of the story, forcing you to rewind every scene, every line of dialogue, every character choice inside your head. This 90s psychological legal thriller delivered one of the most shocking, perfectly played, final act reveals in movie history. It's a twist so powerful, it launched the legendary career of Edward Norton and left audiences completely stunned. It didn't just fool the characters on screen, it fooled every single one of us. So, how did a seemingly straightforward courtroom drama manage to pull off one of the greatest cinematic deceptions of all time? Let's get into it. Our story kicks off in Chicago, with the horrific murder of one of its most beloved figures, Archbishop Rushman. The Archbishop, seen as a pillar of the community, is found brutally slain, stabbed dozens of times in his private chambers. The killer even carved a quote from the Scarlet Letter into his chest. The press descends, and the city demands swift justice. That justice seems to arrive almost immediately. Fleeing the scene, police catch a terrified young man, his clothes soaked in blood. He's 19-year-old Aaron Stampler, a shy, soft-spoken altar boy from Kentucky, with an innocent face and a heavy stutter. For the cops and the state's attorney's office, it's an open and shut case. The evidence is overwhelming, and public opinion is a tidal wave of certainty. The boy is guilty, but where others see a monster, Martin Vale sees the opportunity of a lifetime. Vale is not your typical lawyer. He's a hotshot Chicago defense attorney who loves the media frenzy that surrounds high-profile cases. He's like a shark in a tailored suit, drawn not to blood, but to the flashing lights of TV cameras. He represents mobsters and gangsters, thriving on the challenge of defending the indefensible. When he sees Aaron's face on the news, he doesn't see a killer. He sees the cover of a magazine. He swoops in and offers to represent Aaron pro bono, free of charge, knowing the publicity alone is worth more than any fee. From their first meeting, Vale is drawn into Aaron's world. The boy is the picture of victimhood, timid, almost painfully shy, his stutter making every word a struggle. He tells Vale he blacked out and remembers nothing about the murder, insisting a third person must have been in the room. He seems genuinely terrified and confused, a lost lamb in a slaughterhouse. Vale, a man whose career is built on cynicism, starts to believe him. He becomes convinced this kid isn't a murderer, but a pawn in a bigger game. For the first time in a long time, Vale feels he might actually be on the side of the angels. This belief will become his greatest strength, and ultimately, his most catastrophic weakness. Vale assembles his team and starts digging. They're up against a formidable opponent, Janet Venable, a tough, ambitious prosecutor, and to make things spicier, she and Vale share a complicated romantic history, adding a ton of personal tension to their courtroom battle. Her boss, who just happens to be Vale's former boss, the powerful state's attorney, John Shaughnessy, wants a quick conviction and the death penalty, putting immense pressure on Venable to win. The defense investigation quickly reveals that the sainted Archbishop Rushman was no man of God. Vale's team uncovers a dark, sordid secret. The Archbishop was a predator. They find a pornographic videotape showing Rushman forcing Aaron, another altar boy, and Aaron's girlfriend, Linda, into sexual acts. Suddenly, the public image of the beloved Archbishop crumbles, replaced by the portrait of a monster. Strategically, though, it's a nightmare. Vale knows introducing the tape could backfire, painting Aaron as a vengeful killer. So, in a calculated move, Vale anonymously sends a copy to the prosecution. It's like a high-stakes poker game where, instead of showing his own cards, Vale forces Venable to play the ugly hand for him, making it her job to tarnish the Archbishop's reputation. To understand what years of abuse did to Aaron's mind, Vale brings in Dr. Molly Arrington, a neuropsychologist. She's like a careful archaeologist, gently brushing away layers of trauma to figure out the truth behind Aaron's blackouts. Dr. Arrington's sessions with Aaron are gentle, But she starts to suspect his memory lapses are more than simple amnesia. She senses a deeper psychological fracture and is about to discover a truth far more terrifying than anyone could imagine. During one of the sessions, something in Aaron snaps. As she presses him about the abuse, his relationship with Linda, his entire demeanor shifts. His posture changes. His eyes harden. His voice becomes a confident growl. Scared, she flees the room. Later, Vale is furious and suspicious. He confronts Aaron in his cell, accusing him of lying. As Vale relentlessly pushes him, something snaps. The stuttering, timid Aaron vanishes, and in his place is someone else entirely. This new persona is aggressive, confident, menacing. He doesn't stutter. Aaron don't have the guts to do nothing. He snarls. "It was me, boy. It was me." He introduces himself as Roy. Roy the Protector, the Avenger. He attacks Vale senseless, but he signals Dr. Arrington to hold on. He wants the truth. Roy freely admits to killing the Archbishop, claiming he did it to protect the weaker Aaron. Then, just as quickly as he appeared, he's gone. Aaron returns, disoriented and with no memory of what just happened, asking Vale if he lost time again. Dr. Arrington diagnoses Aaron with dissociative identity disorder, arguing that years of abuse caused his mind to fracture, creating a violent protector personality, Roy, to handle the trauma Aaron couldn't. Roy is the one who killed the Archbishop, while Aaron remembers nothing. For Vale, this is a legal bombshell. His client isn't a murderer, he's a sick kid who wasn't in control. Vale now has a new defense, not guilty by reason of insanity. It's a massive gamble, but Vale thrives on high stakes. He sees a path to victory, and the stage is set for a dramatic courtroom showdown. The trial is pure legal theater, and Martin Vale is the director. His goal isn't just to create reasonable doubt, it's to force the monster Roy out into the open, for the judge and jury to see. The prosecution, led by Venable, argues that Aaron is a cunning killer, who murdered the Archbishop in cold blood. She presents the overwhelming physical evidence, the bloody clothes, the footprints, the fact that Aaron was the only one there. She paints a picture of a young man who, enraged by the abuse, took his revenge. Vale, however, attacks the system itself. He hints that powerful people, including the state's attorney, had their own reasons to want the Archbishop gone, suggesting Aaron is just a convenient scapegoat. He's trying to muddy the waters, to make the prosecution look like they're part of a cover-up. But his entire case hinges on proving Roy exists. He puts Aaron on the stand, knowing the real trap is the cross-examination. Vale predicts that Venable's aggressive style is like a lit match, and he's already laid a trail of gasoline right to Aaron. Venable goes on the attack, grilling Aaron about the abuse and the murder. She pushes him mercilessly until he finally breaks. In a shocking, explosive transformation, Roy emerges right there on the stand. He leaps up, vaults over the barrier, and attacks Venable, grabbing her by the neck, before he's tackled by court officers. It's a moment of shocking violence, and it's exactly what Vale needed. The outburst is undeniable. The case is dismissed. Aaron is found not guilty, by reason of insanity, and is sent to a psychiatric hospital, not prison. Vale is triumphant. He faced down the state and saved his client. He walks out of the courtroom a hero, but the final act is yet to play out. Martin Vale enters the holding cell, with the swagger of a man who just pulled off the impossible. He won. He sees Aaron back to his gentle, stuttering self. Aaron claims he doesn't remember the outburst and asks Vale if they won. Vale reassures him, telling him he's safe. The relief on Aaron's face seems genuine. Vale feels a profound sense of accomplishment. As Vale turns to leave, basking in the glow of victory, Aaron says one last thing. He asks Vale to do him a favor, tell Ms. Venable, "I hope her neck is okay." The words hit Vale like a ton of bricks. He freezes. How could Aaron know what happened to Janet's neck? Aaron wasn't there. Only Roy was there. In that split second, the foundation of Vale's entire case, his entire belief, cracks. He turns back slowly, a sickening dread washing over him. He looks at Aaron and asks, "What did you just say?" Aaron looks back, holding the innocent expression for a beat. Then it melts away. The stutter vanishes. A slow, mocking smile spreads across his face. He begins to clap, slowly, a chilling, condescending applause for the brilliant lawyer. He's so thoroughly deceived. Vale, his voice trembling, asks again, "What did you say about Miss Venable?" Aaron, now fully revealed, leans forward, his voice clear and sharp. "I said, I hope her neck is okay, counselor." And then comes the confession that shatters everything. There never was an Aaron, counselor. The truth is monstrous. There was no dissociative identity disorder. There was no Meek, stuttering Aaron. There was no protective alter ego named Roy. There was only one personality all along. The entire Aaron persona, the stutter, the amnesia, the innocence, was a perfect performance. He even confesses that he murdered Linda, his ex-girlfriend, a crime Vale didn't even know about. He faked everything, turning Vale's own arrogance into a weapon against him. The Aaron persona was a perfectly crafted puppet, and Vale, the brilliant lawyer, was the one dancing on its strings. Vale is left utterly broken. He stumbles out of the courthouse, not through the front doors, where the media is waiting to celebrate him, but out the back, alone. The man who loved the spotlight now flees from it, consumed by the horrifying fact that he was just a pawn. He didn't save an innocent victim. He unleashed a cold-blooded killer. He won the case, but he lost his soul. Primal Fear is more than a legal thriller. It's a chilling look at how easily evil can wear the mask of innocence. What makes the movie so brilliant is that we, the audience, fall for the deception right alongside Martin Vale. We are strapped into the passenger seat for his entire journey, and we crash right alongside him in that final, horrifying moment. The title doesn't just refer to the fear Aaron was faking, but to the primal fear Vale feels when he realizes the justice system he mastered can be so perfectly fooled. The movie is famous for launching the career of Edward Norton. In his very first film, he delivered a performance so captivating it earned him an Oscar nomination. He so completely embodied both the fragile Aaron and the menacing Roy that he created one of the most memorable screen villains of the 90s. The film stands today as a masterclass in suspense, proving the most terrifying monsters are the ones who make you believe they don't exist. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into classic thrillers. And let us know in the comments, what movie twist completely blew your mind? We'd love to hear your suggestions for our next video. Thanks for watching.